WWE cancels 205 Live and it's replaced by a new NXT show. Plus, an ROH talent has made their WWE debut and a top Raw star is making an in-ring return for NXT. It's all in the wrestling news right now. I can turn it around, but there's more that I can do. Now this is war. Now this is war. Not my words, the words of the theme tune to 205 Live. Oh, Sam. Sam.
205 Live is
dead. Your baby's gone.
205 Live is dead. Let's just get it out. 205 Live is dead. Not that any of you care. Not that any of you mind. Not that any of you watched it, you bastards. No, 205 Live is gone and it's been replaced by an all-new WWE show. It's called Level Up. And essentially, last night at NXT Vengeance Day, they taped the first episode of it. The show is going to replace 205 Live officially. It's got a whole new look, and it's designed to showcase the stars of NXT further in a similar way to Main Event and Raw. So it's going to be NXT's B show, kind of like an AEW Dark style show, right? It's going to be like, here's some fresh faces, and here's some mid-carders that we don't really know what to do anything with, so we're just going to stick them in here. But apparently, according to PW Insider, at one point WWE intended for 205 Live to be turned into a touring brand, but the plans were scuttled after just a week of events.
I remember that idea. And you know what? Like, I kind of was tuned into the idea of going to, spending just a couple of dollars to go to a 205 Live show. You do budget tickets.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just sad because, I'd have gone in a heartbeat, but 205 Live, it was often overlooked. It was often, the unfavoured stepchild in the WWE family. It was just kind of left to its own devices. We had various people in control of it at different points. I think Triple H taking over while it entered a bit of a boom phase. And then it ultimately wound up getting absorbed into NXT, kind of shoved further down. And now it is what it is, which is dead. So it's just a shame because you go back and you look at, especially through the period where everybody was kind of making fun of it. It's like, well, nobody watches 205 Live, and it's like, well, if you did, you would have known more about the Kanellis situation when everybody was like, what's this ridiculous storyline with the baby? You would have seen some incredible performances from Mustafa Ali, Buddy Murphy. There was so many great little programs running through that show that just straight up, it just, you don't know what you got till it's gone. And I think in about 5-10 years, people are going to look at 205 and go, wow, that was there? It's like, yeah, it was there. Oh, it was there.
They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. They put up a brand new
show called NXT Level Up.
I don't mind this idea, actually.
It's about time.
Because the one thing that this crop of NXT talent needs is sea legs. So why not have an extra hour of television where they can do that?
We have the NXT tours where we see the smaller NXT loops where we see a lot of the greener talent.
The coconut loop.
Yeah, they come out and they'll work in quite a small environment. And it's kind of for them there to go and get their experience in front of a crowd. But I think to have also that for TV, that's a good thing, and it's only going to stand to benefit NXT further as people are more used to presenting to cameras and working to cameras and all of that stuff. But ultimately, as somebody who's been the biggest 205 Live guy, it shouldn't have ever existed, should it?
No, it was optimistic of us for WWE to push a cruiserweight brand so heartily.
It was bollocks. You had the Cruiserweight Classic, which was great, and then it was like WWE went, oh, so you like watching cruiserweights wrestle cruiserweights? And it's like, well, sometimes. And they went, how about a whole show of cruiserweights facing cruiserweights? And it's like, well, why can't you just bring the cruiserweights back and put them on the main roster? And that was always the thing that confused me the most. But for a show with a lot of good stuff, I'd say definitely go back and check out at least some of its bigger moments. But everything must come to an end.
Now, I don't mind the name NXT Level Up because it leads me back to a conversation I had with Ben Potter from Triple Jump.
Yeah.
We were out for a walk one night and we were chatting away, and he's into his AEW at the moment, is Ben. And he said that he's it's almost like if AEW was an RPG, like AEW Dark is where you're grinding your XP.
Right.
It's where you're walking around in the field, starting fights to kind of earn your stripes and get
punching
your points
trees.
up. Yeah, that's it. Just grinding to get level. So the fact they've called it NXT Level Up, I was reminded of this lovely conversation. I was like, yeah, it's kind of what this is, isn't it? It's building XP so you can launch yourself into there. Well, we saw already from some of the photos that emerged from the first taping, we had a debut from Ring of Honor, ROH announcer, host of a lot of the ROH shows like This Week in ROH on their YouTube channel. Quinn McKay is in NXT. This is a great get because Quinn's flipping brilliant.
She's someone I'm amazed WWE haven't, tried to snap up by throwing, piles of money at her already.
She's really good. She's a great speaker and she can compete as well. She was part of the Women of Honor tournament. And she was keen when Ring of Honor wrapped up to throw herself more into the wrestling world. Like she put a tweet out to say looking for dates, looking for bookings and stuff. So while she is working as a backstage correspondent on NXT Level Up, I do hope that they give her the chance to wrestle as well.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. It's good to see Quinn McKay doing that. No doubt there'll be other names that'll be popping up as part of Level Up in weeks to come. But the first one's on Friday, so 205 Live, whatever, done now. No rest.
This is war.
Friday.
This is war.
Lita.
Just carry on.
Give you a moment. I'll give you a little moment just to drink it all in. Lita had a chat with Sports Illustrated about future plans in WWE. So she is competing this weekend at Elimination Chamber, fighting Becky Lynch. She says, currently, I was asked to do just this match at Elimination Chamber. I know everything can change in WWE at the drop of a hat. There's a lot of opportunity here. Just because there's no current plans doesn't mean there won't be. This has also allowed me to focus on the task at hand, which is put on a killer match and not focus on anything except for Elimination Chamber. So if you had any doubt whether or not Lita was winning the title over the weekend, she ain't winning the title.
She is. She's going to retire with it. She just walks out with the belt. It's gone now.
Bye now. This is my belt now. Thanks very much. Love you. Bye. See you later. I don't think there was any doubt that Becky Lynch wouldn't leave as Raw Women's Champion. But they'll have a banger.
This is, for all intents and purposes, a very exciting exhibition match, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly what it is. And it's part of Elimination Chamber on Saturday.
Cut to Lita winning. This is going to be awkward. Just
a few hours later. Oh, well, that's fun. AJ Styles was on the show with Ariel Elwani, and he's been talking some Forbidden Door-based nonsense. Yeah. He said on working between WWE and other companies, I would love to see it. We need to have a working relationship with other companies. As much as people want us to hate each other, we don't. We want to see people succeed. We want to see people do well. I do. Competition is a good thing. If they have a good show, I want us to have a better show. I'm sure they feel the same way. There's nothing wrong with that. It just makes it better for everyone else who ever loved pro wrestling. This led to the conversation about maybe AJ Styles rocking up on Impact or WWE working more with Impact. And he said, I think it's a good thing. I'm afraid the door only opens one way at the moment. There is a lot of library on AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, and some other guys and girls, and it wouldn't be a bad thing. Yeah, I like the idea of Impact and WWE doing some stuff.
I just like the idea of WWE doing stuff with anybody else, but one thing we need to all take issue with is that AJ Styles, we all know all of you wrestlers need to hate each other at all times. At all times. How else are we as fans supposed to get behind one side over the other? I would fight to the death for WWE. No.
You need one coach for the baddies and one coach for the goodies.
It can only be a good thing. If WWE are to enter into some sort of working relationship with Impact especially, I think there's a lot of good we can get from it. In terms of the library, I think that's a bit of a hairy situation because I'm sure that Jeff Jarrett, there's like a weird Maya. I mean, not that Jarrett's not friends with WWE or anything right now and they couldn't work something out, but in terms of it all coming to, say, the WWE network, I think that's an entirely different prospect to, potentially working together. But I'd be up for it.
You'd have to break into Jeff Jarrett's shed where it's just full of gold bullion and some old master tapes of TNA.
But say, like Ring of Honor were kind of phased out of existence by the arrival of AEW, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what
essentially
happened.
AEW came along with a bigger presentation doing Ring of Honor, kind of, that style of, well, not doing Ring of Honor, but, being the big outlet for independence all of a sudden. So it'll be interesting to see if WWE would potentially work with Impact, maybe the revitalized Ring of Honor as and when it returns. There's a lot of different prospects there that could be quite interesting from a historical standpoint.
I think so. It's one to keep an eye on. I'd love to see that happen. Talking of crossing over, Dolph Ziggler rocked up at NXT last night on Vengeance Day. And I always think of Cliff Richard when I say Vengeance Day. He did Saviour's Day, and my brain always goes, on Vengeance Day. I don't know why, I'm old. But he rocked up and got into a bit of a scrap with Tommaso Ciampa. This will lead to a match next week on NXT with Dolph Ziggler from Raw making his in-ring return on NXT.
I'm all for this.
Yeah.
I am all for this. Remember when Dango and Breeze were just kind of languishing? And they sent them to NXT, and it was so good. They had so much fun by the looks of it. It looked, it was exciting for NXT guys to be mixing it up with main roster stars. And Ziggler's somebody that, it's going to sound ridiculous, but especially with how they're taking NXT now, but say they ever wanted to do it and have that kind of storyline, Ziggler's somebody I could believably see go and take the world title.
Because he's got previous in NXT. He was there in the early 10s.
Yeah, and, he's got, the track record on the main roster, even though now it doesn't so much feel like it. He's got the right level of charisma to be that kind of character. Ziggler in NXT, for me, kind of sneering at all of the new hires and being that guy and being kind of the pro. That, for me, is something I would want to see more than any Bobby Roode Ziggler tag match, the opening of SmackDown.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ciampa Ziggler next week. Ziggler wins, and then we've got Takeover Stand and Deliver coming up over WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
We do Ziggler Breaker.
Oh!
That's, I think, what we do.
Have Ziggler win, Breaker goes straight up to the main roster.
And Breaker beats Roman.
And then Kurt Angle comes back, and then Samoa Joe comes down, and then Scott Steiner comes out, and of course he's got Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe there, and we all know what's coming next.
Yes, they point at the Tron, and the words 205 Live appear on the big screen.
And they just change live with %.
More news throughout the day at Cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.